Good morrow to you, ladies and gentlemen, and your humble live streamer craves for your attendance for whatever hour may please to meet with your blessed countenance. Apparently that was the best way to greet Queen Elizabeth I in the morning, so it's good enough for the Queen Elizabeth I, it's good enough for my page members. And welcome to part 2. We're heading over there. There's a fountain with information on it. A purple velvet coat and a squeaky scooter. Well, I can't speak after my squeaky pedalo boat, can I? Here is the fountain. And here is the information about the fountain. The Jabez West Drinking Fountain. This fountain was erected in memory of the temperance advocate Jabez West and formally unveiled on the 3rd of April 1885. Jabez West, 6th of June 1810 to the 13th of May 1884, was a blacksmith's son from Prince's Risborough, who came to Bermondsey in the 1830s. He worked in the leather trade but became best known in the area for devoting his time to political reform and to the temperance movement. He also campaigned for the Southwark Park. After his death, the Metropolitan Board of Works took the unusual step of agreeing to this memorial for a working class man. The fountain is made of polished grey granite at its original cost of £120, which was paid by public subscription. And it's, there you see it, in the 1880s. 1884. Nice to see it still in its original place. 1884, erected by public subscription to commemorate the life and labours of Jabez West, working man, temperance advocate. A part specimen of a rare class, Dr. Burns. And does it work? We shall see. No, unfortunately not. You can either go that way or the way we're going to go. So as we say goodbye to the bandstand for the last time and the Jabez West Fountain, that's nice to see a memorial like that to a working class man from that era. They didn't always get the recognition they deserve. This is the bowls club that we're going to see in a minute. The fellow that lives opposite me knows a couple of the old boys that play bowls here. And one is of course having to be very careful. So one doesn't get one's phone snatched. So I shouldn't like that at all. I have finally finished paying for it, but that's not the point. It's a bit chillsky this morning. Southwark Park Bowls Club, 1908, 2019. And we go this way, over here. You can go around that way. I'll take you this way. Is there something I wish to show you? Which we'll be coming to in a minute. This port of call was, of course, the main location's the Jabez West Fountain, and we're heading towards an art gallery in a park. Not something you expect to see all the time, but you have an art gallery in a park. And right in front of us is our next location. You remember in part one, when we come in with our intro, I said about the Carriage Drive. Southwark Park Act, 150 years, and that's what stopped the building, because building developers wanted to build more on Southwark Park, and the Bermondsey Vestry opposed it, and they won. But this is the 1860s Carriage Drive, which looks out onto, or goes out onto the Jamaica Gate. It goes around that way. You can go around that way, or you can go the way we're going to go now. That way over there is the boating lake where I done my intro for that. The Kerry Tides. But our journey takes us down here. Gosh. It's 7:54 in the morning. Someone's having a wake and bake. For anyone that don't know what a wake and bake is, that is smoking a herbal or magical cigarette as soon as you wake up. You can smell it a mile off. So in the 1860s and prior, people would have been going up and down here in their fancy carriages, and probably annoyed that they couldn't put their fancy houses along here, which is what they wanted to do. To the memory of Father Nick Richards, parish priest of St Mary's, Rotherhithe. 19 something, because it's a bit worn, I'm afraid, to 2006. St Mary's, Rotherhithe seems to crop up quite a bit, doesn't it? It's an interesting parish church. obviously for its Mayflower links, and anyone that's on Memories of Plaistow and Beyond, and I can only heartily recommend the page, go on there and you'll see a series I've done particularly for that page for one of my favourite page members, Chris. Follows her ancestry right from the 1750s Wandsworth area down to Horsley Down, Bermondsey, Rotherhithe, back to Bermondsey again, and then the family ends its time in Rotherhithe. And this is where we go in here. Passing the Ada Salter Memorial Garden, which I'll, for anyone that didn't or hasn't or may not want to watch part one, I'll give you a quick zip around of while it's empty. Wheelchair accessible as well for anyone that struggles with their mobility or uses a walking aid or something like that. Oh, what a glorious morning. Makes me sick. I am only joking. Anyone that's watched Hocus Pocus will know what I mean. The sundial, when it is not sunny enough yet to show us the sundial. We have seen that in part one in action. That's the information board on the Salters in this memorial garden. If you haven't watched part one, give it a watch and you'll catch up on that. You're now going to join me back out there. Off we go. It's a nice exit, so I thought I'd show you this rather than just rejoin me on the path. There's Ada Salter's Tree of Heaven there. And her memorial plaque. Bermondsey produced some real decent, bloody decent social reformers. So yeah. I mean, you had the Reverend Blick, Canon Beck, who I think, yeah, he came after the Reverend Blick. Then the Salters. Did you hear the native Londoners talking, my dears? Sounded like the poor woman was extremis, in need of the privy. We've all been there. And it is utterly empty, so I will show you the children's playground area, because if you come with your family, it's nice to come here. And over that way there, in the afternoons on nice days, is an ice cream van. There's places to eat along here, like Kath's and that. The chips smell particularly nice, I must say. Eat healthy, don't I? And as with many a video coupled together by London Luke, you shall join me for one I prepared earlier with the art gallery. It's modern art, nicely painted, and it's obviously good because it exhibits young artists, shows local life, brings money into the area as well, which it always needs. This is one of its original fountains, the park. You'll have seen in part one. Yeah. And this is the Southwark Park Galleries, celebrating 40 years, and you're going to rejoin me earlier in the day and we'll be off inside. There's some information boards, so pause to read those, and then we'll hit the art collection and a nice little garden area out the back there. Join me inside. And we are in.
Having tea in the garden, reading poems in sick, Marcy and Papa stood on the fountain with a big plastic skirt on. Tim Spooner collecting found objects in the park, vibrating table sculptures falling over. Candy Sabine Walker learnt to do bookbinding myself really cheaply. Introduced a sentence, I'm writing this because of it. Flora Dewey, fantasy cardboard sculptural structures. Senior art school is her favourite thing in the world. A holiday for the mind. Senior art school feeds my heart. Good intelligent conversation.
Pause to read the descriptions.
Hang out with artists, an artist hangout. Cosmic debris in a conversation with itself. Play, enjoy materials, experiment, no pressure about outcome. Freedom, space, materials, the magic cupboard.
The Anne Ryan show was the first thing I saw after lockdown. Seeing the city rise again was incredibly moving after living through London's empty days in lockdown. All the little figures in Dilton Road really captured the diamonds of city life and London's neighbourhoods for me.
A very memorable early exhibition for me at the gallery was in 1985, Hopperhead by Richard Wilson. At this time, the gallery was adjacent to the Lido, which was still in operation. Richard's Hopperhead consisted of a large hopper made up of metal, placed in the middle of the gallery, and then outside he installed a pump that fired a fine jet of water from the Lido that crashed into the hopperhead and then was pumped out into a drain in the garden. Over the period of the exhibition, 21,000 gallons of water were pumped from the Lido into the hopperhead over a distance of 33 feet. It was a stunning early installation from Richard, and one that I would
my name's Christina, and memories that I've got of Southwark Park and the Seniors Art School relatively recent memories, because I kind of discovered the park and the area about 8 years ago when I stopped working, and I was discovering that I don't live in this area, but discovering bits of London that I didn't know. So walking by the river and then finding there's this massive park called Southwark Park, and how attractive and nice that was, and how that kind of fits into other bits and pieces. And then there was the art gallery, which was often had different exhibitions on, and the old, really got a nice new cafe now. We used to have this funny old quirky cafe in the building just around the corner here. And the guy ran that was a bit comedy, but he was, once he got to know me, he was fine. It was a great work. And then one day I see outside the gallery that there's a poster for Seniors Art School, which is the parameters that you can put the old room, it's this and that. And I thought, well, that sounds quite nice. So I came along, that must have been about, I suppose I've been attending that for about 5 years, 4 or 5 years. And it's just brilliant. You know, the facility, it's usually run by artists, and it's 2 days at a time, so you get to kind of really work on a piece of work that you're developing, and it's all different people from really diverse, and the teachers as well, usually practicing artists, them as well, they're all ages, all ethnicities, all, you know, it's really, you know, it's really eclectic. And there's been some really interesting things, and even if it's something that I'm not keen on doing, it's a good couple of days, or, you know, it's interesting to get to talk to other people. And sometimes it's like, it really is what I'm interested in, and I find there's useful ideas so I can go away and do some stuff myself. So it's just a brilliant facility, and you never know what you're going to get. I suppose one of the ones, I was talking to Matilda, she said,
This is good because it gets like older people, people who may have issues like Alzheimer's and things like that, creating and mixing with each other.
Was linked to an exhibition that was about the work of, I think it's Marcia Farquhar, I think I got the name right, and we were writing poems and doing drawings and putting in booklets, and her theme in the exhibition was what you keep and what you throw away. So that was the kind of thing. And in the garden out here, there was a skip, you know, like a skip if you're cleaning your house, you chuck all the stuff into the skip, and it was empty. And when we finished the day, he wanted to, we read our poems standing and skip, and then we had tea and eggs in the garden. So I was honest, but it was absolutely brilliant. It was just like a silly thing that was really kind of funny and inclusive. It was nice. And the other one I liked, which if someone had really described what it was, I'm not sure it would come, which was drawing a movement. And that was Florence Peake, and she had an exhibition of some really incredible paintings that have been collectively created, so people sort of helped her paint the paintings within certain parameters. So I didn't do that, but I painted.
You'll join me in the next gallery.
Workshop.
And then you've got this lovely space out here, which is very nice. You can see it and contemplate, enjoy the art, have a read of your leaflet that you've been given. These are hands. That hold up the pots and the plants. Oh, how charming. Well, I hope you all enjoyed that, and you'll now join me back outside. Well, for those of you who are into modern art, or just a different experience, hope you all enjoyed that. And we carry on with our journey. There is another gallery. Whether I'll be able to get to filming there or not yet, I do not know. But if so, that will be our final instalment, because it's a much older building than this one by the looks of it. So we'll head over that way now. Our building of interest is just over there, but I've not walking across the grass because I've seen people letting their dogs defecate there. Although if I go careful I should be okay. I'll keep an eye on where I'm walking. Someone's just fed the birds. Tuppence a bag. Well, I should imagine it costs a lot more than tuppence nowadays. Oh, how my Aunt Glynis would love this. She would really love this. I hope you get the hints of the sarcasm. My poor Aunt Glynis has an extreme phobia of birds. I should imagine it would probably be her idea of the very worst thing that could happen to her. Sorry if we're a bit bouncy or jumpy about. The ground is very uneven and I'm looking down to make sure I don't tread in dog muck. have a permission visit after this one at a church, so one does not wish to tread defecation all over their carpet, which is new, I'm told. So we're coming towards the end of our, this particular jaunt, with one or two more locations to go before we leave Rotherhithe. One of them is the Norwegian Church, St Olev's at Rotherhithe. Interesting building. Now this is the Dilston Gallery. It doesn't open for another 3.5 hours yet, so I've got plenty of time to do my research on this one. That's if we're allowed to film and photograph inside. If not, then this will conclude our tour. Dilston Grove, and this is the Dilston Gallery, and it looks as if it would have been a chapel of some kind, like a Methodist chapel or something. And I'm going in totally blind with this one at the moment, so I will do the research on it and hopefully be allowed to take some photographs and film in it. Yeah. There would have been a bell in there, that's an old chapel or something. Anyway, we shall come back later on, hopefully. If so, that will be our final part, and fingers crossed, if so, you'll join me for the next video. So, I hope you've all enjoyed the tour so far, and keep your fingers crossed for the Dilston Gallery, because the building itself looks interesting.